Compliments of the New Year fam. May everything that you wish for, pray for, come to pass. So y'all remember the SABC employee Nobuntu Mkhize that had an altercation with a flight attendant on Fly Safe Air, right? She has now broken her silence and she's denying allegations that she was drunk or seemed drunk. She's saying that she was sober as a judge and she's suing. Besides her claiming she was sober as a judge on that day, she's also threatening to sue both Fly Safe Air and the South African Police Service. You all remember she was caught on camera fighting with Fly Safe Air crew members, demanding to be served a drink, right? While speaking with News 24, she's claiming that she only had a whiskey before the flight and she was not drunk. She's saying that they checked in and then decided to go to the slow lounge. And at a slow lounge, they ate quickly and had one drink, which was the whiskey she's talking about. Then they realized that they were running late, so they went and boarded the plane. When they got inside the plane, she's saying she was not drunk, she was sober as a judge. She's claiming she only got upset when the flight attendant refused to serve her, saying she didn't understand why. She's also saying that she was only asking about their cold drinks when the cabin crew member said she was annoying in isiXhosa. And she's saying that's when she was like, "Excuse me," because she didn't understand why she would not serve her. She also added and said that the crew would not listen to her side of the story. And in response to a question about some of the statements that she made during the heated argument, Mkhize is now saying that she only said some of the things because she was being undermined.
What?
What is she saying really? That every time she gets undermined, she then reminds people who her father is and goes on to call herself an ANCB? Dang. And of course, she went on to also play the race card, saying if I was white, they would not have treated me the way they treated me. Although I do not condone it, I said some of the things I said because they were undermining me since I'm black.
Black people in this country have a problem of shutting up. But if I was white, then it would be like,
Sis, are you serious? Since you're black, not since you were highly intoxicated, seemingly? And she also went on to say, I want to sue both SAPS as well as the airline, Finish and Clark. I feel like she should just take her L and keep it moving because I don't see her beating the allegations that she was drunk. If she wasn't, as she's claiming now, what kind of a human being behaves in that manner sober? If I was her, I would have just stuck with the drunk allegations because admitting to behaving in that manner sober is something else.
My husband and I were on flight FA 185. We were seated in row 23. She was in the second to last row of the flight, and the initial assault took place right next to us. Our names were taken by the flight attendants as witnesses, so we did chat to them and get more context. So I spoke to the flight attendant, and according to her, the passenger already seemed intoxicated on boarding the flight. But it didn't initially seem to be the case where it was bad enough that she would need to be removed.
Oh.
The first sort of incident with this passenger was when the flight attendant had asked her to please put headphones on because she was playing her music loudly. And initially she insisted that she should be able to play her music, but eventually she did comply, and the lady left it alone. The flight attendant left it alone. Later on, the service carts came, and because they had recognized that the woman was already drunk, they did not offer her any alcoholic beverages, but they did offer her non-alcoholic beverages and like tea and coffee and stuff. And she was not happy with that. The flight attendant then moved on and sort of made her way to our row. The flight attendant also clarified to us later that they've had to enforce their policy of limiting alcohol more strictly recently since a drunk passenger in Lanseria fell off the stairs when disembarking a plane and passed away. She was aggressive in her language, using lots of profanity, and was in the flight attendant's face and grabbing her hands. She claimed to be a Sapphire mystery shopper and said that she was going to ground the flight and the flight attendant would be unemployed tomorrow. At some point in this altercation, she shoved the flight attendant, pulled her hair, and made the statement, and I want to be very clear, this is a statement that she made, a quote from her, that black people in this country need to learn to shut up, and if she was white, she would have been served. She asked us if we knew who her father was. She claimed to be an ANC bitch. She used the term colored biz when addressing a colored flight attendant. She shoved the other flight attendant and threw a can of Coke at the flight attendant, as well as throwing around her hand restraints, which hit other passengers. She used a lot of profanity and refused to be restrained and even escaped the restraints that were used. I haven't seen any videos of her waving her gold sneaker at us, but she also did this at some point and claimed that she's not afraid of any of us and she was going to take us all down. All of this occurred during heavy turbulence with seatbelt lights on and with an hour still remaining of the flight. She stood up and made anti-black comments, anti-ANC comments, and said that this whole thing was a test and that if she had done this at a taxi rank, people would have been stabbing each other. She was promptly shut down by the passengers on the flight and did end up sitting quietly for the remaining 30 or so minutes of the flight. Once we landed, the police was brought on board and she proceeded to write down the names of airline staff and SAPS members and continued to claim that she was going to get everyone fired. They were not able to remove her within the first 10 minutes of landing, so we all ended up having to disembark from the front of the plane. In this commotion, this is when we left our luggage on the flight, and so we heard from airport staff afterwards that she had insisted on a female officer to arrest her, which delayed the process further, but they did take her and her bags to the police station overnight. And as she walked through the terminal, she still berated airport staff and claimed that they would all be on the news tomorrow. That is my story, guys. That's all I know.
Anyway, on other news days leading up to Christmas, Cyan Bougee had come out saying that she was scammed. She had said, wow, I got scammed, 15K. Please call the following numbers as much as you can, guys, until I get my cash back. Just call. And gave out these numbers and then went on to write, maybe they will give me back. If not, tomorrow I'm posting their ugly faces. And then moments later, after thinking about it, maybe, she came back again saying, anyways, I've just realized that it's really only 15K they took. They need it more than me. But thanks for the help, guys. However, on the 1st this year, Musa Kaula came out with reports that she lied. Okay, or rather twisted the story. As Musa Kaula is saying, remember when Cyan Bougee went on a rant about being scammed 15K? Here's what happened. Cyan Bougee has been renting the V-Class that she publicly claimed to own. Cyan Bougee damaged the V-Class Exhibit C and informed the owner that it wasn't her responsibility to fix it. Cyan Bougee then asked and paid 15K for an extension on the rented V-Class, of which the owner then used those funds to fix the damaged car. The cost to fix it exceeded the 15K Cyan Bougee had paid for the extension, and the owner had to spend an added amount of 10K from their own pockets. We are also learning that Cyan Bougee doesn't have a driver's license.
Like, understand. Let's